Hey friends, this is Sarah from Beyond the Beat, and welcome to the new segment, Music Mess, where we're going to dive into past and present music industry stories and standards that we just find interesting and it deserves taking a second look. Pop culture is fun, music is fun, thinking critically about pop culture and music is frickin' fun. Before we jump into this video, let us know if there's any topics that you think deserve our attention as well down in the comment section. Be sure to give it a like, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on so that you can get notified every time we upload a new video. We're coming out with tons of new content for you guys all the time, and your support truly means the world. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So today we're going to be talking about women in pop and how old you're allowed to be in the mainstream pop world as a female. What is the age limit? This is super interesting to me because I'm just starting to hit that age where successful, famous women are like younger than me now, which at 23 has me feeling like I missed a boat somewhere. Like, I'm not getting into the Olympics at this point in my life, and it seems like I'm starting to cut it real close with any dreams I have of being a mainstream pop artist. So thought I would start looking into how old you're allowed to be before we kind of get bored of pop stars and just sort of, send them to Vegas. We're going to be looking at women in the industry because I'm a woman, and I think we're at a point where we can just sort of agree that men and women are just treated differently in the industry. I think we can flat out say that. Also, this is my dream, and I'm a woman, so I want to know if I've got time left. That being said, like, age entertains age. We're coming into this understanding that pop music is historically for a younger audience, and we're coming into it understanding that your audience does tend to be within 10 to 15 years of age. It just sort of works like that, which completely checks out to me. When I think of my parents and the music they listen to, they do listen to a lot more like adult contemporary, just like older artists that kind of break in, versus myself, who of course does not. We can come into it with that lens, knowing that, there's some ageism involved, but pop music is a bit of a young person's game. We've also known for a while that ageism in pop is it's real. The newest and hottest thing does tend to be the youngest. Some stars do speak out. There was that Baby Rexha Instagram post where she called out a male music exec for ageism. She said that she was getting too old and that her brand was, in quotes, confusing, because she's a songwriter posting sexy pics on her Instagram, and that's not what female songwriters are supposed to do, especially for her age. She was 29 when this photo was taken. And she goes on to talk about how she's approaching the age of 30 and she's getting nervous about it, which is like crazy that there's this much anxiety in pop stars around turning 30. There's already enough anxiety, I guess, around turning 30 as not a pop star. So personally, for me, another trigger of why I even wanted to talk about this was I was watching that Taylor Swift documentary. Somewhere towards the end, she starts talking about how she only has a couple years left of being allowed to do this, that she's just going to keep doing it until the audience just sort of doesn't show up for her anymore until she's pretty much just like completely aged out, which was really interesting. And side note, I would die to see a version of the Miss Americana documentary where it's literally just Taylor Swift talking about like music industry stuff exclusively. Like, she doesn't really go into her personal life, and like, you just know that she knows so much and that she's not sharing, which, like, fine, Taylor, but also like, that's the bone I really would like to be thrown, because we know that she's been picking a lot of stuff up since 2006 when she came out. So to get to the bottom of how old we're allowed to be these days as women in pop, I hopped on over to the Billboard Hot 100 chart. First of all, I'm aware that, like, the amount of music that comes out right now that's hot, it's like 75% male and 25% female that tends to chart. I'm aware of that, but actually in doing this research, that was proven once again to me, and how embarrassing. Like, it is so painful to like actually straight up do the math on this and like actually see that that is the truth. Oh no, 26 for this one. So 26 out of 100. Also, quick side note, we're just looking at solo and duo acts. So very sorry, Destiny's Child and Dixie Chicks and Lucy Pearl were all on that list, but we didn't look at them because trios. I also included features in this because I wanted a bigger pool of women to draw from here. So we have Savage, of course, Megan Thee Stallion, and the Beyonce remix, so good. Doja Cat and Nicki Minaj on Say So. Doja Cat's 24, which shouldn't shock me. I like knew she was young, but somehow still is like, oh. And then you got Nicki Minaj, who's like later 30s. Lady Gaga is in her 30s now. She's on there with Rain on Me, Stupid Love, Alice, and Sour Candy. Sour Candy is so good also. And you got Ariana Grande, who's 26 now, with Rain on Me and Stuck With You, which, sorry, that just surprises me because in my head she's like forever like 22. Dua Lipa, God Bless, is on there with Don't Start Now and Break My Heart, 24. Maren Morris with Bones. Gabby Barrett is on there with I Hope, which is a great song, and also like her album's dropping later this year. Like, we don't even have the rest of her album, but she's like hit us with I Hope, which has been on the charts for like weeks and weeks, and she's only 20. She's 20 years old, which is like, what I've noticed in doing this research is that this is on like the Hot 100 chart. So yeah, the mix of genres is obviously there, and I know I said I was talking about pop music and I'm trying to, but she is definitely a bit more of a country star, and country stars, they tend to allow to be older for some reason. Camila Cabello with My Oh My, she's only 23. I don't know why this surprised me. I guess because I feel like she's been on the scene for like a long time with Fifth Harmony, but I guess Fifth Harmony must have been pretty young then when they were coming out, eh? Gwen Stefani is on this also. And this is where we go back to country lets you be older, because she's on the song Nobody But You with Blake Shelton, which is, you can just imagine what that song sounds like. I looked it up, I watched the music video, it was fine. It was just fine. Whatever. But she's 50 now, so like, congrats to Gwen for still doing the damn thing. We also have Halsey, Billie Eilish, obviously. Miranda Lambert on there with Bluebird, great tune. Then you've got Tones and I on there with Dance Monkey, great. When I went to look up how old Tones and I was, and she's just one person, she's doing like a Hosier Bahamas thing. And there's conflicting reports if she was born in 1993 or 2000, and the artist prefers not to disclose her birth details, saying, I never denied my age, I never lied about it, I just don't say anything now, everything is wrong online, which is crazy and also so fun. Like, just don't tell us. She runs the risk of someone just finding out one day, but even then, like, it's not like it matters. It's not like that'll do anything, because she's like being very truthful about how she just doesn't want to come out with her age. What I've learned from doing this research is that it seems to be around 30 that all of these artists are asked about their age, are forced into saying something about their age, which just seems so bleh. You got Julia Michaels on there with that If the World Was Ending song. Rihanna with Believe It featuring Party Next Door, which I had not heard. Rosalia's on there with Travis Scott. Jane Aiko is on there. Maddie and Tay are back on there. Like, remember Maddie and Tay? They hit the scene with Girl from a Country Song. I'm from a very rural, small town, farm country, white area. Country music was like a topic always. And when Girl from a Country Song dropped, it was like all people were talking about for a hot minute. Karol G with a song with the Jonas Brothers. Okay. Katy Perry with Daisies. Carrie Underwood with Drinking Alone. Drinking Alone's actually a fantastic song. Like, Carrie Underwood delivers on fantastic karaoke songs, and I'll stand by that till the day I die. Noah Cyrus, good for her. July's a hit. and Lauren Elena with a song with Hardy, whoever the hell. It's called One Beer. Let's assume it's country. So the average age of all of these women on the chart, which is the whole point of looking at this, right? The average age of all these women currently, 27.28. How do you convert that? That's like 27. Let's say it's 27 and a quarter. Let's round it to that, which is higher than I was expecting. I was genuinely not thinking it was going to be that high. Makes me feel real good. I was like going into this thinking like, oh my god, everyone's going to be like 23 or something. Like my age. Another thing that makes me feel really good is the oldest woman on the Billboard charts right now is Gwen Stefani at 50 years old. I mean, she wasn't really putting out music though until she like got with Blake Shelton, which could mean that later in your career you need an edge, you need a famous boyfriend, you need something. Blake Shelton, for real? Who actually like Blake Shelton a lot. He gives out like dad energy, but he gives out dad energy in the way like, yeah, maybe he was like not great when he was young, but then he had kids and then he like matured a lot and like really grew up. I don't know enough about Blake Shelton, so if you come to me with some like big Blake Shelton tea, I will not be shocked as well. All I know him from is The Voice. My mom loves The Voice. I've seen enough of The Voice to know I like his energy. That's all I'm gonna say. So we got Gwen Stefani on there at 50. Good for her. Love that for her. But she's like far and away older. The next oldest person in age is Beyonce. Like, Gwen is an outlier here. She probably shouldn't have been able to do that, but she did. So once again, let's give Gwen her flowers and let's keep moving on. So the next thing I wanted to know was, is this better though than like how it used to be? Because I kind of associate like pop stardom with like teenagers, to be honest with you, which just like from growing up, it was like Britney, Christina, Pink, and even today, like the people we talk about the most are like the Billie Eilishes, right? Like the younger you are and the more successful you are like the hot ticket. And which is like, of course, like it's incredible to see someone like Billie Eilish be like 15 and just writing fantastic songs, and it's cool to see someone so young with just her brother, like so pretty limited resources at the time, like coming out with great tunes. So I get it, I get why we talk about it so much, but also like, you know, we talk pretty much only about the teenagers. So I thought maybe this was like something that just stuck in my head from when I was like a kid. So fine, I decided to go compare this 2020 chart to the year 2000. It was 2000s when I started listening to like music and not just nursery rhymes and nonsense. Let's take a journey. We have Aaliyah with Try Again. Bless. Faith Hill is on there twice with Breathe and The Way You Love Me. Britney Spears, of course. This is when Oops, I Did It Again was charting. Fantastic. Also, Britney was 18. Britney was 18 with this charting. Like, that's impressive to me. Macy Gray is on there. Toni Braxton. Pink with There You Go. She was 20. Christina Aguilera, I Turn to You. She was only 19. Sonic, It Feels So Good. Vitamin C. This is when the Graduation song was big. I mean, it checks out with like the style of the song, but that to me is just one of those songs. It's like I can't even believe there was a time when the Graduation song wasn't around. And she was 27 when she wrote that. Good for her. She's nearing that 30 button, so she thought, let's write a song that's going to get me royalties for the rest of my life. Mary, we're 18 and 16. Shackles. Leanne Womack, I Hope You Dance. Janet, It Doesn't Really Matter. Maya, Best of Me featuring Jadakiss. Leanne Rhymes, I Need You. She was only 17. Reba McEntire was on there with I'll Be. Again, country girls can come in at any age and just have a hit song because she was 45 when this came out. These country girls are screwing with my curve. Mandy Moore, I Want to Be With You. Mandy Moore was 16. I already feel like I'm noticing way more teenagers on this list. Whitney Houston, Deborah Cox did same script, different cast. Lara Fabian, I Will Love Again. Jennifer Lopez, Feeling So Good. Jennifer Lopez was already 30. Martina McBride, Love's the Only House. Anastasia, I'm Out of Love. Mary J. Blige was on there with Give Me You. Interesting mix of people. There was quite a few people like in their 30s. but also a lot of teenagers. The average age in 2000 was 26 years old. 26.92. I mean, I guess we could round that up to just 27. But either way, it's lower. That's good. On the whole, are we getting better? I'd argue yes. I think the average is up currently. I think we have an older averaging artist and the ages are closer together. Versus in 2000, you had a lot of teenagers and then you had a lot of late 20s, 30s. I did want to point out, though, that currently a lot of the ladies in the 2020 chart are, frankly, pretty established artists. You've got your Beyonce, your Nicki Minaj, Halsey, Rihanna, Katy Perry, Carrie Underwood. For every Billie Eilish, Doja Cat, Dua Lipa, you've got a Beyonce, a Nicki Minaj, Rihanna on that list, who's just, they're just established artists, right? Who are gonna raise the age limit on this. Because of that, I went ahead and I looked at all those 2020 artists and the age they were when they actually broke out and became famous. Because sure, maybe you have to be 27 and a quarter to make it to the Billboard Hot 100, but how old do you have to be the breakout star? I looked at all their ages when they first hit mainstream success. And by mainstream success, I was looking at all these artists' career paths and personalized it for me and counted mainstream success as, when did Sarah from rural Nova Scotia in her little closed community learn about these artists? And we got 21 and a half, 21.42, rounded up to 21 and a half, which is crazy young. We are past that. We are 23 now. We should have had mainstream success in the music industry for a year and a half already. This is the Olympics all over again for me. What happens after you age out of music? Let's look at a couple of artists who are over the 27 and a quarter mark. Specifically, let's look at Madonna and Yoko Ono, because they have been doing the fight for ageism. Even though Madonna's in her 60s and Yoko Ono's in her 80s, neither of them really want to end their careers yet. They're just not ready, and that's totally fine. So Madonna's doing this by refusing to let go of her image as pop queen. She's still, if you look at her performances, she's still doing what she liked to do when she was 20. She refuses to let people push her into letting go of being sexual and empowered, which I think is great, because Iggy Pop is 67 and frequently shirtless, and we don't really say anything about it. And we applaud men who keep going and keep doing things, and we shame women who have become mothers and gotten older, right? So that's her comparison. But then even if you look at Yoko Ono, who just doesn't want to quit yet. She's in her 80s. She did a song with the Bleachers. This actually might be a few years back now. But I remember her doing a song with the Bleachers, Ready to Move On, and it was so beautiful. It was such a sweet song. And people are just retire already. She doesn't want to quit. She's not ready to quit. And I remember going to see Leonard Cohen 2014. Love him. Though we will not be putting any disrespect on his name today. And he was in his 80s. And I remember it was a beautiful show. Everybody was just look at this man still doing the damn thing. Tony Bennett, 88. He put out a record with Lady Gaga not too long ago. Did we say anything? No. We said, oh my god, he's still touring, he's still writing music, he's still doing things. If we're gonna do that for the boys, let's do that for the girls as well. So you have those out there who are fighting the good fight and making it happen. And then you have those who have the Las Vegas graveyard. And that to me is just where acts that get too old go to perform to fans who mostly go because of nostalgia reasons. I think that there is a respectability. I mean, I harp on it a bit, but I think there is a respectability to finding your Vegas show, staying in a city, living your life, because I'm sure touring is incredibly taxing when you're not 21 years old anymore. We can still have successful careers in the non-mainstream world, becoming a songwriter, working in production, having careers that maybe just are a little less mainstream. These are all possibilities for us. And even though it's pretty sad when you think about how in 2019, Madonna was the only female act over 40 to be on the top 10 highest grossing world tours, which you might think, oh, top 10 highest grossing, it's pretty incredible she was on that list at all. But 4 out of the 10 people on that list were men over 40. So clearly there's a huge imbalance there. And even in the way that we let older men be sexy, like Mick Jagger had a kid at 73. And Madonna got laughed at the Met Gala for her see-through dress, which, like, I mean, you know, it's an age thing, it's a dress thing. Like, we can have that argument as well. But it's just, like, currently the way to assert yourself as a female pop star icon is to take up a residency at Caesar's Palace. Like Celine Dion, who has a residency and plays 70 shows a year, even though her last album that came out was pretty much ignored. God love her, and I do. Let's talk about J-Lo, for example. Still putting on a fantastic Vegas show. I'm not saying it's not worth your money. She's not getting lazy, but it's just like, she's not touring anymore. Which I think in some ways is like nice for these artists to still be able to do their thing. And nice to be able to probably reach a point in your career where you don't have to do a world tour all the time. Like, you can stay in one city with your family and it's fine. And I think Beyonce's starting to do a good job of, she's pulling back a bit, and she's talked about how she's pulling back a bit, even in just like doing the Lion King soundtrack, helping other artists, even just jumping on a track versus putting out your own music. It feels very like Elton John. But I do feel for like the Katy Perrys and the Taylor Swifts of the world. I hate to use the word, but like, irrelevance. It's happening. You might not be a Maroon 5 fan, but a Maroon 5 song pops up on the charts once every year or two. It can feel like you cannot escape the Maroon 5 song. And like, come on. Adam Levine is 41 years old. And they're still pumping out some like hit tunes. Like, Girls Like You was amazing. Girls Like You was such a great song. And like, we still give them that space to like create and put out music that we do not afford to all of our older female artists. So how are you supposed to age gracefully within the music industry in a way that's respectable if you're just sort of pushed into being irrelevant? So I do want to end this on a not that pessimistic note, because it's not all the end of the world. I don't know exactly how we could fix this, but I do know that being aware helps. Support all our pop girlies, no matter their age, because good music is good music, whether you wrote it at 16 or 64. So thanks everybody for listening to this first video in our new series, Music Mess. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please hit that like button. Please leave a comment letting me know of any other music mess that you want to talk about, that you want to get into. And hit that subscribe button, turn our post notifications on so that you get notified as soon as we drop a new video. We're coming out with new content all of the time. And that's it for today. Thanks again for watching, friends. See you next time.